Hey, what's going on, guys? Today I wanted to do an update video on this Zippo axe slash saw combination here. I got this many years ago and I revisited it today. I've used it just a little bit over the years. Never really liked it. Wanted to give it another shot today. I had a few stumps that I wanted to get out of the ground, and probably spent about a half an hour to 45 minutes with this today, and it was just a huge reminder of how much it sucks. It is absolutely horrible. So if you have seen my older video, if you watched the channel for a long time, I did a kind of a Zippo vendor tour at a NASCAR event. I think it was in Watkins Glen, New York. I went to a NASCAR race, and they had Zippo vendors there, and I talked about some of the new lighters and stuff, but they were very excited to show all their outdoor gear. That was about the time that they started doing the outdoor stuff, okay, branching off and having Zippo brand products that were for camping slash outdoor use. You know, all their different fire starters over the years, some of their outdoor camp tools, lighting accessories, all kinds of stuff, right? So this is one of the first things that they came out with, and I thought it was really cool. Once I started using it, I realized that it was just a bad design. So before we get into all my issues with it and the things I don't like about it, let me show you how it is supposed to work. All right. So you can see this is basically 3 tools in one. We have the main tool is a short camp axe. All right. The back has a hammer, and there's also saw blades in here. Okay. So we have a hard plastic sheath that serves 2 purposes. One, it is a cover for the blade, so when you're not using the blade, if you're using the saw portion of it, it works as a handle, which I'll show you in a second here. So you can see how that unscrews. All right, there's a hole in the bottom of the blade. Come in the back here, you can see there's a bail. This is just for hanging this on, you know, tree limbs or whatever when you're in your camp. This back part opens up here. Okay, so that kind of hinges. And there's a hollow handle that houses 2 blades. These are 2 wood saw blades. All right, so I'm gonna take one of these out. Pop the other one in. All right. Actually, I'm going to leave this open here. So you can see this little tab that kind of swings in and out has a little nub on it. That's what catches the saw blade. Okay, so what you do is you put the sheath back on here, and where this little pin is, you rest the blade on there. Okay, I'm actually going to shut this and lock it. So I'm going to screw this down here. And on the other side, you can see where that kind of hooks on to this piece here. All right, let's get a better angle here so you can see what I'm doing. You want this piece to go through this hole right there, like that. All right, and then when this hinges and shuts, it has a tighter fit, okay? There is quite a bit of flex on this, which I am not a fan of. All right, so you put the bail back, and then you can see these rubber portions act as your handle. Okay, so here's your camp saw. That's your sawing action, right? Not only does the blade have quite a bit of flex back and forth, but the obvious issue for people who use saws all the time, you can see here, is the small gap that you have to actually work with, all right, between the handles. So basically, if I want to saw, you know, something, I want to saw a tree or a branch or something that's maybe 4 or 5 inches in diameter, once I am sawing through it, let's say this is the wood, right? I'm sawing through the wood, now it's on the other side, I'm sawing through, well, it hits the top of that. So you're very limited as to how thick of a branch or tree that you're actually sawing. Now, obviously this tapers, so you can cut something a lot bigger here, but you have such a small portion to actually cut through. You want to use the entire length here. So if you're cutting branches that are anywhere from maybe 1 inch in diameter to maybe 3 to 4 inches, it's okay. It's not bad. It's worked totally fine for that purpose. But anything bigger than that, and you run into that issue where you're 3/4 of the way through, and then it just stops because the wood is now rubbing on the top of the handle here. All right, so it's limiting in that sense. But my issue is also with the flex. Okay, it's just not very sturdy at all. There's a ton of flex in there. So that's the saw version of this, or the saw function in this tool. All right, so let's take this back off and talk about all my issues with it. All right, so let me get that blade. All right, so where I want to start here is with this sheath design, okay? If you can't tell, the sheath is cracked, okay? It's broken. Not only is it broken here, there's also 2 tabs that are supposed to be actually on this side, okay? Right here and right here have little tabs that were sticking up originally, and you can see where those tabs would kind of snap in. So when you put this on to the blade, okay, this top part would go snap, and it would snap together tightly. All right, and then you would screw this down so that it's secure. Well, the tabs broke off, okay, and the actual sheath cracked and broke, and that is from the vibration of using the hammer. All right, so one could argue that you should take the sheath cover off if you're using the hammer option, but I think most of us who use common sense would figure that having that blade covered while you're swinging it close to your face is probably a good idea. So I use this with the cover on, and it just did not withstand the beating on the hammer. Now, what I used this hammer for was smacking on some stumps that were half rotten. So it's not like I was just, you know, swinging with all my might, hitting the side of a dead tree or something that's just, you know, unnecessary. I was actually just banging out big old chunks of that rotten stump. So there was some resistance there, but it wasn't ridiculous. I wasn't slamming this on the ground, on the concrete or anything, and I wasn't using all that much force. It wasn't even a full swing. These were like little half swings, just trying to break it into chunks so I could pull it out of the ground. So yeah, I mean, it's just a weakened design. It definitely should not have done that, and now it's just floppy. It's horrible, it's floppy, it's super, super annoying that it does that, right? That aside, even if that worked totally fine, my big issue with this is that it has a hollow handle. All right, hollow handle hatchets and axes are just weak. Okay, I know of cases where one of the Schrade models out there that had a hollow handle, had something inside of it, that broke. I had a couple of those Schrades, and they were horribly uncomfortable because when you have a hollow handle like this, when you hit something, that energy, that vibration travels down that handle a lot when it's hollow. Okay, when you have solid wood or solid resin or plastic or something like that, even aluminum, it just doesn't travel like it does when you have the hollow handles. All right, so I don't like that to begin with. But on top of that, you can see the length of this. Okay, you don't get to use that whole length because when you hold this down here, it's too uncomfortable. It actually hurts. All right, it's borderline painful, not only with the vibration, but when your hands wrapped around this open section here. I've also been pinched a couple times with this piece, okay, just holding it in the middle here because I wanted some kind of leverage. Now, when you're forced to hold it up here where it's totally comfortable, right, it's absolutely comfortable to use it up here. Now I have a hatchet, okay, it's shortened it quite a bit. So it's unfortunate that this whole bottom section is really unusable for grip. So when I want to use two hands, I do end up using the bottom here, and it's uncomfortable. I just can't do it, so I have to use it one-handed up here. I can't use it two-handed up here because it's ridiculous. It's just too short. So the design itself is just not good, in my opinion. You know, it's really unfortunate that the combination of these tools just don't work out. They all work a little bit. You know, you can, you know, process some wood with this. It's not that comfortable. You can use the hammer with this. This is actually probably the best part of this tool is the hammer. That works totally fine, right? Because I don't need as much length. I can hold it up higher and use the hammer very effectively. The blade on this is totally fine. It's decent quality. It's just the overall design is just not good. And the saw works okay, but it doesn't excel, you know, as an outdoor wood saw. So my experience has just been poor. I mean, these things sell for $70 to $75. For $75, I would probably recommend a $30 or $40 Fiskars, you know, axe or hatchet, and, you know, a dedicated saw separately. I just don't like this tool. It has not worked out for me. I really wanted to love it because of the Zippo name that's on there, but it shouldn't mean anything because it doesn't. Zippo makes a fantastic lighter, one of the coolest lighters in the world. The combination axe, hammer, and saw, not so much. It's just, like I said, it's unfortunate because I had high hopes because of that name, but realistically that name means nothing in the outdoor world. It means everything in the lighter world, but this is a whole different realm. Now, since then, I'm sure they've come out with many different designs. I haven't really researched, you know, current Zippo axe, you know, offerings. But this original one that they came out with was just not good. And I tried it so many times, and I wanted to love it, but I just don't. It's just crappy, honestly. I mean, you'd be better off with a cheaper Gerber axe, or, you know, something you can get down at you know, Home Depot or Lowe's for 20 or 30 bucks. Anyway, just wanted to share that with you guys. If you've ever seen this before, I would personally just stay away from it. There's a lot of better options out there and dedicated tools. So if you happen to have this Zippo, you know, combination tool, let me know what you think of yours. But my experience has just been negative every single time, and particularly today, just really working with it hard for a long time like that. I mean, just my hands are beat up. It's uncomfortable. It's annoying. and frustrating. So I want to make a video talking about it and maybe save some other people some anguish who might be interested in it. But anyway, that's it for now. Hopefully you guys have a wonderful day, and I'll see you tomorrow with a brand new video. Take care.